and welcome into Rebecca K Crochet. This is take 4 or 5, I don't know. Anyway, this is a peak stitch ear warmer, and what you're going to need is a pair of scissors, 2 crochet hooks. I start out on this video using this one, and I am using a larger hook. I'm using my 6mm hook. I had to rip this out like 4 times, and I went down to a 5mm hook to get this to lay right. So if you have trouble with it, if it starts ruffling or, you know, doing the wavy deal, go down a hook size and see if that doesn't help with that. And you're going to need a needle. And like I said, I used a 6.5 and a 5.5mm. These two, but I show you using the other hook. And the yarn that I'm using is I Love This Yarn. It's print. It is Drizzle Me This is the colorway. And it is 5 ounces, 142 grams, 252 yards, 230 meters, 100% acrylic. It calls for a 5.5mm hook. It's a 4-weight, washable, and dryable. I don't know if I said 100% acrylic, but it is. This is a super soft yarn also. And I was saying, because of the curve that this does, I would not make a scarf out of this. Out of this stitch. It's just, it makes a wonderful stitch, but it curves, and I don't like the curve. I don't think I'd want to wear a scarf that curved as bad as this curves. I was going to make a scarf out of it. I'm going to have to figure out something else for Friday. So with that being said, let's get started. If you have problems, questions, or anything, always give me a shout out and I will be glad to help you. Okay, for this stitch, we are going to start with a slip stitch on our hook, and we're going to start with a larger hook. We're going to need 2 hook sizes, one larger and one smaller, because this one tends to flare out at the bottom. So I have my larger hook and then a smaller hook, and we're just going to chain with the larger hook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain until I get the circumference around my head. On this stitch, it does not matter if you have, your stitch count does not matter. It's not an even or an odd or multiple of 3. It's just the stitches that you do. You will want to count to make sure that you have the same number of stitches. And I will be back here in just a second. Okay, I am switching to my smaller hook. This hook was a 6.5mm. I think you can see it, yeah, there. And this one is my 6mm hook. This one is a size K, this one is a size J. And in the third hook, or third loop, third stitch, there we go, from the hook, we're going to start with yarning over, going through, yarn over, bring up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, just like a double crochet. But the difference on this peaked stitch is you yarn over, you go back in that same space, yarn over, bring up a loop, and you do a half double crochet and you pull through all of those loops. So you start out, you do a half of a double crochet and then a half double crochet. Now you want to make sure that you pull this loop a little bit taller, because you're going to have all of this to go over whenever you yarn over, go back in, yarn over, pull up your loop, so it doesn't snug it down too much. You yarn over, go back in, you have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 4. Bring that up just a little bit, Then you yarn over, start with your double crochet. In the next stitch, yarn over, go back in to do the half double crochet. You have 4 on your hook, on your hook, and you pull through. Sorry if you heard all that noise, I had to shut my door. Okay, so then we're starting back with our double crochet, or half of our double crochet. Yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, yarn over, go back in that same stitch, pull up a loop, pull through all 4 on our hook. And this is what we should be looking like. Now, I don't remember if I told you this or not, but I'm making a headband, and I started with 75 chains, or roughly 22 or 20 inches. It was 20 inches, and so you can chain until you get 20 inches if you want to do a headband like I'm doing, or whatever you need for your headband. If you want to make a child's headband, you can do that. It's going to be smaller. If your head is larger than mine, it'll be bigger. Whoops, that wasn't right. Didn't have 4, only had 3. I don't know what I did there. Let's try it again. Yarn over. This will become faster as you do it. It will curl on itself, and that's perfectly fine. You can just pull it out and make it tight. It's only because I'm on camera that it's curling up the wrong direction. Oh, the story of my life. Now maybe I got it where it needs to be, where it won't curl up on me. This is a stitch that will curl. It will get kind of wonky. It'll do weird stuff. And you just pull it out to straighten it out. That's what you should be looking like right now. I'm going to finish this first row out, and I will show you what it looks like, and I'll show you how to start the next one. Okay, we're coming up to the end, and this is just a 1 row repeat. So the only thing that you have to really worry about is getting your end correct. This is a wider stitch than normal, so it works up extremely fast. Got one more after this one. Okay, so we're at the end. You can pull this and make it, see how mine's twisted and tangled. You can just pull this and make it relax as you work. It'll relax down, but this is what you should look like. And this is the other side. So now what you're going to do is you're going to chain 2, turn your work, and go in every one of these stitches across with your double crochet, half double crochet in every stitch across, just like you were doing before. This row will work up a lot faster than the last row, because your first row is always your fiddliest row. It's always the one that takes the most time. And that's it. That is the pique stitch. And you can just work your way back across and then chain 2 on the other end and continue on. You can count your stitches to make sure that you have the right amount of stitches. or you can put a stitch marker in the end to know that that is the stitch you need to work into. When I was first starting out, I used a lot of stitch markers. And because of how wide this stitch is, it will curl on itself, but it makes a very thick stitch also. This would be great for dishcloths, headbands, all kinds of stuff. Not headbands, but ear warmers. I don't know why I keep calling them headbands. But this is how you do it, and this is all there is to it. So I hope you guys enjoy. I will continue on with this, and on Wednesday you will see the finished product of the headband. I will show you how the headband is done. But this is what it looks like now. And there's both sides. I may not do it in this color. This color's hard to see. Okay, this is what you should be looking like once you get your rows done. This is approximately 4 inches wide. And I will tell you that I started off with this one, and this is a 10.5 6.5 millimeter hook. I ended up going down to a 5.5 I-9 hook because this wrinkled really bad. If you're having the problem, whenever I went down to just the 6 millimeter hook, it wrinkled, it puckered, it did all kinds of weird stuff. So I ripped it all out like 5 different times. I took out stitches, and I think it's still going to be a little bit big for what I'm going to do with it. But this will take a little bit of space also. So what we're going to do next is once you get it to the size that you need it to be, and you may, like me, you may have to rip this out. I think I ended up with 60 stitches altogether, so you might want to, if it's too big, you might want to go down. But like I said, I had to go down 2 hook sizes instead of 1 to get it to come out right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fasten this off. And we are going to put these 2 ends together. We're going to cut a piece of yarn, and we're going to sew these 2 ends together. And I'm going to show you how to do that to make this more of a bow looking headband. Ear warmer. So you make this one into a C and this side into a backwards C. You just go in half. You put one inside the other, like so. Make sure they're snug in there. Fold this one down. And you just sew all of your ends together. Now you need to leave a tail here so you can make a knot. And you can either whip stitch this over the top, which is what I'm going to do. Sewing it just as snug as I need to, but I'm going to whip stitch it and pull it tight. Making sure that you get all of your pieces. Or you can also sew it this way. If you want to do it like that, you can sew it back and forth this way. And make sure that you pull it tight. But I like the whip stitch because I think going over the top of it you can make it a little bit snugger than normal. And see, that one's fallen down, so I had to drop down and pick that up. Make sure you get all 4 layers. And then if I have enough yarn, I'm going to go back across to the other side again. This may be overkill, but I just like doing that. And getting more where it's kind of puckering it up a little bit and taking all that bulk, trying to take that bulk down. And what you end up with whenever you get done is you will end up with one that looks like a bow on the top of your head. And I will show you that here in just a second. And I'm going to get this one right here on the end. And then I'm going to tie these two together. Now, how I like to tie mine together is I like to wrap it around once or wrap it around twice, pull it, make sure I pull it really tight, and do it again. Wrap it around once, wrap it around twice, pull it really tight. You can either weave in your ends or you can snip your ends kind of close. Turn your work. Now we'll have to weave in these ends. But you're going to turn our work over, and this is what you look like. I didn't get some of that sewn. Okay, I fixed it. I just had to get it turned right. And there you have it. That is what it's going to look like. You have a knot in the middle, and it's going to look kind of like a bow. And that's how you do it. So there's your headband. Now, the one thing I will tell you is this does get tight, and so it is going to kind of curve on you. I would not make a scarf out of this stitch because, and that's what I was going to do, but it's curved so bad on the bottom that I would not make a scarf out of it. But there you go. I've got to weave in my ends. I'll take a picture, and that is how you make your headband out of the pique stitch. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss anything, and have a great rest of your week.